days, today is tomorrow, and MrBeast is still in the news. This man, instead of him just, being a multi-millionaire, if not almost a billionaire at this point, and keeping his head down and, staying out of the allegation limelights, for some reason, whenever another YouTuber by the name of Soggy Cereal came out and basically dismantled Dogpack404's videos on MrBeast, something that I was skeptical of from the beginning. I'm just saying, boys, I was skeptical of Dogpack from the beginning. All right, you can go back and see any of my old videos. I was always skeptical of that man. He always had that tinge of crackheadiness to him. He was always ready to say something that was out of pocket. But yeah, whenever Soggy Cereal came out with his video essentially exonerating MrBeast of most of the claims, like, don't get me wrong, Soggy Cereal still had some allegations against MrBeast, like, yo bro, what is up with the crypto stuff? Like, my guy, you've been scamming your fans out of crypto, and some other things that, Soggy Cereal wasn't that knowledgeable about, but he saw other creators like, CoffeeZilla was more knowledgeable about it. But MrBeast took Soggy Cereal's video and started shopping it around to commentary channels. The man started trying to bribe literal commentary channels into talking on this situation. Some did, like Omni, and some didn't. And whenever people like Omni found out about, MrBeast, not just, messaging him, I'm assuming Omni's felt special whenever he got that little ping from MrBeast saying you got a message from that boy was probably elated. He was like, MrBeast? Oh, okay, I'm not gonna bully Omni. I love me some Omni. Omni's like one of my favorite channels. He's like, MrBeast? Messages me? He probably was already all over that video, and he made a video on the whole Soggy Cereal video, basically explaining it and basically furthering the narrative that MrBeast wanted to be furthered, that Dogpack is an unreliable commentary channel, right? He's unreliable narrative in this whole story. But then Omni and other commentary channels started to do what they do best: conversate with each other and, converse about the new MrBeast drama. And they all realized that MrBeast messaged you? Because he messaged me. Yeah. And he was talking about this new video that was supposed to be exonerating him. And he really wanted to make sure that I was going to make a video on this. So obviously, whenever people started to realize MrBeast was basically shopping this video around, trying to influence and, get other YouTubers to talk about it, obviously, people started to feel away whenever they realized, oh, this man was manipulating me.
I am genuinely disappointed with MrBeast, and you guys know that's a big deal because back in the day, I was like one of MrBeast's biggest fans, always thinking he was a net positive and doing really well around the world. But yeah, let me explain what's going on. Here's Soggy Cereal. You guys probably know him because we covered his video on Monday where he went over the debunking of a lot of Dogpack404's claims. Okay, we've come to find out that all those videos that started this whole MrBeast cancellation from Dogpack404 was actually very flimsy. I'll bet there are still some claims that are out there that still need to be addressed, but there was a lot of holes in it that made his, his argument pretty weak. It was a good video. We were already going to cover it on Monday because a lot of you guys asked me to talk about it. Well, guys, buckle up, buckaroos, because MrBeast also reached out to me as well. The long and short of it was MrBeast being like, hey, did you see Soggy Cereal's video and are you going to cover it? Which I told him yes, because even before he reached out to me, you guys asked me to cover the video prior in the tweets where I guys ask you what you guys want me to talk about, kind of thing. So it was already in plan and emotion. So yeah, he came in, I guess, to make sure that, all these news channels and these commentary channels were going to cover this magnificent video that basically makes him look better, which was really weird, but it was fine. It was whatever. I was already going to cover it anyway, and I guess he was coming to follow up to make sure that it was going to happen. But once I found out that he was doing this with every news and commentary channel, yeah, I got a little bit pissed off. It's very clear exactly how Soggy Cereal said that MrBeast was kind of using Soggy Cereal's video as a shield, telling people to kind of watch it because he doesn't want to say the things that, Soggy said, but he supports the things that Soggy said. But doing it en masse in the way that he did actually feels very manipulative. If it wasn't for the fact that I was already going to cover the video before he did, it would feel like I would be being manipulated and influenced to do so. And not just as Omni, like, hey, we're best friends or something. No, it feels like he was trying to tell the media to push out this information, and it feels a bit, yeah, manipulative.
And it wasn't just Omni who got messaged by MrBeast. People like More Pegasus also got messaged by MrBeast, which is kind of weird, seeing that More Pegasus basically is building a whole nother commentary channel, his second commentary channel off this MrBeast drama. But I guess MrBeast is willing to break bread with more Pegasus because he had a whole conversation with more Pegasus, and more Pegasus basically detailed it in a community post on his YouTube channel. So I talked to MrBeast behind the scenes in a couple of calls. We had a real genuine conversation about everything. Jimmy admits he's done a lot of wrong, but also wants to clarify a lot of the misinformation / lies about him as well. We had a call off the record. We agreed not to record, where we had a few responses that cleared up some confusion and helped his case partly. Damn. Even in the off the record call, this man was still saving face. This man was like, all right, maybe I did do something like that, but it wasn't to that full extent. Well, MrBeast, how would you like? Nope. Don't want to clarify it at all. That's the extent of it. But let's continue. We then set up an actual interview to post on the channel today, and I asked him about every single allegation. I prepared questions for the last few days. He seemed excited about finally getting his perspective out there, but literally last minute before the recorded interview, his team canceled and said they want to do an in-person interview rather than an online one. Spoiler, I don't live in America, so we can't do that. I personally don't think it makes a difference at all, and you guys wouldn't really mind an online interview. We just want to hear him, I'm guessing, respond. He then apologized to me for wasting my time. But yeah, that's what happened in the past few days. This is pretty sad, but also YouTubers do this so much. I'm gonna be honest here, boys. There's a lot of YouTubers that do this, right? They'll hype it up. They'll be like, yo, bro, you know what? You're right. Let's do X, Y, and Z. And then whenever the day comes, oh, man, you see, I needed to take an extra nap today. You know, my writer, he was feeling sick, so I had to write my own video. Who knew I would have to write my own video for today? It's always an excuse whenever the day of comes, whenever it comes down to YouTube. Always, boys. Just tell yourself in the back of your head, even if it's 100% concrete, you got a legal contract for them to have to be doing something. Every YouTuber will find some way to get out of it, alright? Don't ever think you have 100% legal hold over any YouTuber to do something. They will 100% just back out last second for the most mundane of reasons at all. But also, don't fret, don't think that MrBeast wiggled his way out of this, because essentially he's doing an interview with Oompaville instead of more Pegasus. I'm assuming because Oompaville is actually in America, even though he's nowhere near North Carolina. I'm pretty sure he's in Texas, so you know. I'm like, at least you ain't got to get the passport out and go through TSA, but still. Now, let's all be honest here. I feel like more Pegasus will be more, in line with questioning MrBeast and Oompaville, because, like, don't get me wrong, love me some Oompaville. That man is just a silly boy, and he already started off the video with some BS by, like, put your hand on this copy of a fictional piece of work. Put your hand on this copy of Harry Potter. Do you swear on J.K. Rowling that you'll tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
So, firstly, would you be willing to put your hand on this Bible and swear?
Oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have 2 Bibles.
Are you serious?
Like, it already started off with some BS. The interview isn't out yet. Oompaville said it's probably gonna come out later on today, hopefully, but we already know what maybe, possibly, hopefully does whenever it comes down to YouTubers. I don't know, maybe Oompaville might want to go on a press tour with this footage. I don't know, who knows, but hopefully later on today Oompaville will be uploading this, and tomorrow I'll be making a video on it. But obviously more Pegasus warning, you know, another 7-8 million view video, if not 20 million view video or interview with MrBeast. He did, you know, continue on with this community post. It's basically saying, MrBeast, if you want to come back, you know, change your mind, wink wink, you know, at any time, my arms are wide open for you. Anyways, if he changes his mind, I'm still down. You can expect a fair interview with hard-hitting questions. I keep it real and do not bend for bigger YouTubers. It means nothing to me. I still think it's best to do it on this channel specifically, and he'd convince the most people here, as it's been the forefront of the drama. But it's his decision. In the end, I guess I might just cover the interview when it drops on some other channel. he hasn't decided it's gonna be on Uberfield's channel. I just thought about that. As for Soggy Cereal's video, some things were right, but some were pretty wrong too. We're gonna get into that later on in the video, boys. But feel free to watch it if you want. I may cover it later on, but I obviously am more interested in talking to MrBeast directly at the moment, so we can finally finish this saga for real. I'm sure more Pegasus is like, I really don't want to finish this up. I got another house payment coming up or my third mansion. This man has made so much money off of this job, he don't want it to ever end. I honestly don't know what's next, but stay tuned anyways. I'll do my best. Also, it's been an insane few months. Thanks for the support, you guys. Rock. Now, obviously, more YouTubers were tapped on the shoulder by MrBeast to join the council of Soggy Cereal promoters. People like Pyrocynical also got messaged over this, and then some, I guess, T channel, I guess that's what you call it. I don't know if she's really commentary. I guess technically she is. Spillsesh got messaged over this. So, like, actual, genuine big YouTubers got, you know, hit by this MrBeast bomb. Alright, MrBeast, he came through just spreading influence everywhere, trying his best to get people to watch this video. So Pyrocynical actually leaked his conversation with MrBeast. Well, it wasn't leaked. He asked MrBeast, and MrBeast was like, I mean, like, to save face, obviously I'm gonna say yes, you can leak this conversation, but I'd rather you not, which is already suspicious. I'm just saying. If you have to say, I'd rather you not, I'm already looking at you like, what do you mean you rather me not? What you mean by that?
A couple days ago, when I was doing a meet and greet in Germany, where I met some of you amazing people, I got such amazing gifts there, like this handmade plushie, and then this fan art that someone drew, wholly based. But strangely enough, when I was over there, I got a DM from MrBeast. Now, to receive a DM from MrBeast could be the most controversial thing to ever happen at the minute, considering, again, all the allegations against him and the company. Now, even though he's in a lot of hot water at the minute, I still wanted to, like, respect the privacy of the DM, so I did ask him beforehand. I said, hey, can I show this, like, on a stream or in a video? And he basically said, I'd prefer if you didn't, but if you felt like it was necessary, then sure, go for it. So you can see the actual DM here. He's saying there's been a lot of disinformation around me these past few months, and I feel like Soggy did a good job hitting a lot of it with facts. Would love if you covered it. Heart emoji. Didn't know you rolled that way, Jimmy, but, you know, fair enough. Now, before I get into it, the reason why I'm showing that DM, obviously I had his permission. He wasn't 100% okay with it, but he did sign off on it, is because I don't want this to later come out like DMs get leaked, because at the end of the day, everything gets leaked, everything gets exposed, and I could so easily see this being spun into, you know, some kind of like MrBeast glazing, or, you know, why have I suddenly done a complete 180 on my opinions? I do think there are very serious accusations that have been levied against him, but basically he just said he linked me this video, which is apparently like exonerating him to a certain extent, and wanted me to like cover it, to go over it. I do want to say as well, I have had a couple other mutuals link me this video beforehand as well, so it's not like I'm covering this just because, you know, MrBeast told me to, because that would be very embarrassing.
Now, I understand that, you know, all these YouTubers would be / are elated whenever the biggest YouTuber on the planet to have ever been, you know, made on this damn website, this godforsaken rock we live on, you know, DMs them, right? It's one thing. But whenever the guy DMs you a video, like, really, like, these people never had a conversation with MrBeast. MrBeast never followed them. As soon as this one video that makes MrBeast look good come out, this man is following you, DMing you, and being like, it's your choice. The choice is yours. You can either get on my good side or my bad side, or stay neutral. Like, that's what he's doing right now. That's what he's doing right now by DMing these people. He's forcing these people to have somewhat of an opinion on him. If you don't care for MrBeast, then you're going to stay on his bad side. If you do care for MrBeast and you don't really want to be on his bad side, you're probably going to cover the video in a more favorable light, like a lot of people did. Now, someone like Jamari, I was saying, covered this beautifully, because he went over some of the things in the Soggy Cereal video that, you know, actually made Soggy also look pretty bad. Because Jamari started to point out some very evident things that were in Soggy Cereal's video about, you know, Dogpack 404. Basically, Jamari was pointing out that, yeah, Dogpack seems like an unreliable narrative in this story, but so was Soggy, because Soggy was kind of, you know, glazing, you know, MrBeast / he got a free trip over to North Carolina for the whole MrBeast interview part.
America, right? Yeah.
Did you cover those costs yourself, or did MrBeast in any way pay?
I'm gonna be honest on that. So I offered to do interviews to Dustin, and so I was the one who offered that, to want to do interviews. I reached out to Dustin about that. After he reached out to me, he said that he wanted to do an interview and maybe try to ask some other employees if they wanted to do interviews. But since it was last moment and very expensive, Dustin, as far as I know, paid for those, and not on a MrBeast card, because when I got at like the hotel, which they said that it was on the card of like literally his name, like his personal card, not non-company cards, and that's all I know. So yeah, I want to be completely transparent about that. I just didn't have the funds to do so.
No, that's fine. I don't necessarily think
Yeah.
that's an issue, but I don't know if I maybe missed it. Was that said in the video, or is it somewhere in your description, just to really get it clear that happened?
No, it's not in the video.
And he was interviewing all the employees of MrBeast, but he wasn't interviewing MrBeast, the main part of the video, the whole part of the video. You're telling me you flew from God knows where in Europe, the middle of nothing, all the way over to glorious North Carolina, where MrBeast at the MrBeast chocolate factory is. I don't know where that man is at right now. And you're telling me you interviewed nobodies, essentially. Like, don't get me wrong, they work at MrBeast, but the main man that you're making a video on, you didn't get a interview, and you're in his home state interviewing his employees, but you're not interviewing him, right? So you guys see the conflict of interest. He got a free trip over to North Carolina. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing in North Carolina, so it wasn't like he was going there on a nice business vacation. But still, he got a free trip over to North Carolina. It wasn't paid by MrBeast, the company. It was actually paid by one of the employees of the company. But also, you ain't like MrBeast just can't throw a couple of dollars that employee's way. The man works for MrBeast. I mean, like, let's all be honest here. You think MrBeast wasn't in his ear like, hey, man, made me look good in this interview? There might be some things for you in the future. You think that's not what MrBeast would be doing whenever he's like approving employees to be interviewed? The employees that work at MrBeast or left MrBeast of their own accord, you think those people wouldn't have a more favorable view of MrBeast? Now, don't get me wrong. Again, Dogpack 404, not a reliable narrative. The man is literally, I don't know, manic or something. A little crackhead that every MrBeast employee was like, yeah, that guy's weird. And you know what? I believe them whenever they say that man was weird and very antisocial. Just looking at this man, I'm like, yep, that's the one believable statement that I can agree with. That man is weird. But also, that doesn't mean I can just, hand wave the other mistakes made by Soggy Cereal during this whole interviewing process. Now, obviously, I can't really blame the employees because, brother, I'm going to be honest here. If I was a MrBeast employee and he said, straight, go in that room into that interview, make me look good, and I'll give you extra $1,000 at the end of my. I'm gonna be up in there glazing, hopping on the deck, doing tricks. I'm gonna be doing shit you ain't ever seen before. I'm gonna be glazing MrBeast. I'll be like, Master Beast, he done took me out of poverty. I'm gonna be all over MrBeast dick up in there. So I can't really blame the employees for it, because like at the end of the day, my check is worth more than some little YouTube drama. All right, I'd lie for MrBeast. I'm just saying, if he was paying me, I'd lie straight up. So that already shows, hey man, maybe interviewing the employees. Don't get me wrong, could their statements be right? Yeah, they could be 100% right during these statements, and they could not have been coerced at all. But also, I mean, like, whenever my paycheck is on the line, you think I'm gonna be talking shit about my boss? Like, brother, if every employee grew a conscience and started talking about how they truly felt about their boss in the business, and if they think their boss and their business is shady, I'm pretty sure 99% of people on the planet would not be employed at all. I'm pretty sure that's why they want the AI to come through. They really don't want us to be employed by these people. Because if we started leaking out what these people are really like behind the scenes, let's all be honest here, a lot of us wouldn't have jobs. Because there's plenty of people out there that be like, I ain't talking no shit about my boss. I need my check. I'd rather have a roof over my head. Instead of being like, he was the hero that no one gave two fucks about. As soon as he made his statement, he got fired. No one donated to his GoFundMe. Could never find a job again. I'm sorry, boys. It's hard out here for a regular low-level employee. I just don't believe them all that much. Don't get me wrong. Again, their statements could be 100% factually true. But again, I don't care. Because I already know how I would be as an employee working for MrBeast. I could not be one of these people, alright? And some of these people are still friends with, like, Jake Webble, someone that really hates MrBeast. And they try their best to discredit Jake Webble while also glazing MrBeast while he's still an employee of MrBeast. Does he have differing opinions on MrBeast if you asked him if he wasn't an employee? Most likely. He most likely would, but obviously he's not going to say it during this interview whenever he knows his boss is going to be sending it around to all the biggest commentary channels on YouTube. And somehow, Soggy Cereal, during the interview, contradicted himself by saying, yeah, the employees were genuinely scared to do the interview, not because MrBeast pushed them into it, not at all. You know, they weren't scared of saying the wrong thing during the interview, and then I used that in my video. No, they weren't scared of that. They were just scared of retaliation from other YouTubers. It's like, brother.
That you spoke to, who had his call
phone call?
recorded, right?
Yeah,
That was
Garrett.
crazy.
Yeah, that was, dude. I was so happy when he wanted to talk, because he was a bit hesitant. He wasn't sure if he wanted to go on record about this and, you know, show his face on all of this, because that's the thing. Like, a lot of those employees were genuinely scared. I've seen comments about people saying like, "Oh, MrBeast pushed his employees into doing these interviews." Like, no, these people were scared to do interviews, yet they were brave enough, because they were tired of all of this bullshit, to do the interviews. Jimmy didn't he didn't know who I interviewed. He didn't know, like, he knew that Dustin was like, you know, talking to me and stuff.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah.
But he didn't know who I was interviewing. He didn't know about, like, the leaked dogpack firing interview. Like, he was really not involved into this, and I wanted to make sure, because at first I wanted to interview Jimmy, but
Right.
then when I was talking to Dustin, I realized, like, maybe I shouldn't interview Jimmy, and I should completely leave him out of this, because if I interview him, that might, you know, Jimmy obviously will be unbiased, and so, like, his employees are obviously also Jimmy won't be unbiased, and his employees are obviously also not completely unbiased, like, they work at the company, but it's still different, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely, Soggy. It was 100%, 1000% different. You know, you were just interviewing the unbiased employees instead of, you know, the unbiased YouTuber that this whole video is, you know, made around. Literally, this line of reasoning made no sense to me, right? Because, like, brother, you flew all the way to North Carolina for interviews, and you're saying Dustin basically was able to change your mind on interviewing MrBeast because you thought MrBeast would be unbiased in his own way? Like, yeah, we're all unbiased towards ourselves. Yeah, but we'd rather hear from MrBeast what actually happened instead of, you know, MrBeast employees where MrBeast can hide and be like, I didn't tell him to say that. I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't have to say that. It didn't come from my mouth. Did you hear me say that? I didn't say that. Like my guy. This line of reasoning makes no sense. That's an actual logical fallacy. Like, if you're gonna interview the employees and the man is on the premises, get the interview with him. Be like, yo, MrBeast, remember we were conversating? Let me get an interview with you, my guy, so we can, you know, squash this whole thing and make sure that we get everything in a line. But instead of him doing that, he made up an excuse of saying, oh, no, you see, I didn't want the employees to feel pressured. It's like the employees already feel pressured. Anyone that's going on to be interviewed by a big YouTube channel that's going to basically help exonerate MrBeast. Basically, they're going to feel the pressure because they're going to be like, I like working at MrBeast. I got a pretty good check here. I'm not really hurting for money, but I'm like, I would love to continue to be employed here. So obviously they're going to be under some kind of pressure. And just so I can show you guys the amount of power that MrBeast holds over anyone, this woman, you know, she has her own channel, Spill Says. She talks about, you know, YouTube drama. She's, I would say, a commentary channel. She's doing pretty well for herself. A couple of 100K views per video. I would say she's doing very well for herself. She's probably making some really good money, all right? MrBeast followed her on Twitter the other day. Obviously, this woman was like, yo, what? Like, don't get me wrong, she's not the biggest YouTuber. 700K followed. Not bad. Not bad at all. 700K, but she's not the biggest YouTuber. But obviously, having the biggest YouTuber follow you on Twitter, and then You're literally just like, what? Hey, yo, does he gonna collaborate with me or something? And then the only message she sends you is basically talking about soggy cereal. You start to get a little bad aftertaste in your mouth because you're like, I thought this was like you trying to genuinely connect with me, not use me as your mouthpiece. And other than this DM, this woman has really no connections to MrBeast, right? MrBeast doesn't, sign her checks at all. This is a woman who's doing well for herself on YouTube that doesn't really need MrBeast. But whenever MrBeast comes a knocking, obviously she has to answer the door. I mean, like, you never know what a MrBeast, knock could hold.
So MrBeast followed me. Let me just say that one more time because I was very shocked yesterday when I was at Disney and I saw the notification that he messaged me after all of the videos that I've made about him, none of which paint him in a good light. So I was looking at my phone just like, what's going on here? And I've covered a lot of what they have had to say. And yesterday, MrBeast was in my DM saying that he has seen these videos, okay? And I hate sharing DMs, but this just feels like one of those situations where I can't not because it has turned into this bigger mess. And honestly, it just feels like he's trying to do damage control because he looked so bad this summer. And it feels like he's trying to follow people and message them so that they're like, oh my God, MrBeast followed me. Like, I don't want to talk about him, or like, it's uncomfortable if I talk about him. He's like the biggest YouTuber ever. No, that's not what we want to do here. I did see that there was a video going around. I saw it on X where someone was talking about how Dogpack404 claimed things in his video about MrBeast that they were saying was not true. I saw these clips going around, and what do you know? MrBeast sends me the link to this video.
So yeah, that would make me feel very weird if MrBeast followed me. I mean, like, I don't understand why I wasn't tapped on the shoulder to be part of the hit squad for MrBeast. I would have been a good hitman. MrBeast, all he needed to do was just give me a couple $1,000. And I would have been up here like, hey man, y'all seen this song? You see, he was going crazy. But you know what? MrBeast lost his opportunity, all right? He's been exposed. The deal's off the table. But yeah, again, MrBeast out here doing some very shady things with people that don't really need MrBeast, right? He's tapping people like Pyro Cynical on his shoulder, like, hey, Pyro, you should talk about this video. When it's like, Pyro has a ton of money / a ton of followers, very loyal fan base. I might be in it. Who knows? I'm not out of myself at all. But yeah, Pyro has a pretty loyal fan base. Pyro doesn't need MrBeast at all. Now, MrBeast wanting to collaborate with Pyro, that'd be great. But Pyro doesn't need to do any favors for MrBeast because he doesn't need to. People like Spillsesh, she doesn't need to do any favors for MrBeast. She already has a career. People like Omni doesn't need to do any favors for MrBeast. He already has a career. People like More Pegasus literally already has a career and is making another one off of talking shit about MrBeast. So the thing about it is, I don't understand why MrBeast is like tapping all these big YouTubers that, don't need him at all on the show to like, hey, did you see this video? If anything, it would have been like more, I guess, better of a manipulator tactic if he literally tapped smaller YouTubers on the shoulder. And if he was like, hey, you seen this video? Hey, you seen this video? Because obviously it's easier to control the narrative there. Obviously, I'm assuming MrBeast thought, oh, I'm MrBeast. Obviously, these people won't leak my DMs. I'm like, come on, I'm MrBeast. But it's like, none of these people need him. I don't know if he had like an ego trip while DMing, like, I'm MrBeast. They would never leak my DMs. But like, they all leaked your DMs. Because this is weird. Obviously, if a smaller creator was tapped on the shoulder by MrBeast, we would probably keep it more secret. Because like, my God, yeah, hey man, I'm just saying, if I could get exposed to 300 million people, I have no followers compared to these people. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy everyone, but also, hey man, I also would like there to be a career for me. But at the end of the day, people like Spillsesh, Omni, More Pegasus, Jamari, Sensitive Society, all that, they don't need MrBeast. So I don't understand the point of him like tapping these people and be like, hey, just saying, you should probably make a video on Soggy Cereal's video. This is really good, wink wink. On top of that, let's all be honest here, in some shape, way, or form, MrBeast did pay for Soggy Cereal's flight out to North Carolina. Even if Dustin paid for it out of his own check he gets from MrBeast, MrBeast still signed that check. Maybe he like allocated a little bit of money, be like, hey man, wink wink, give this money to Soggy Cereal, wink wink, all right, for a flight and a hotel. I didn't give it to you, this is just a bonus payment. Wink, wink. Make sure you pay for my friend Soggy Cereal's flight, though. Right? Like, I don't understand what MrBeast thought he was doing here, right? You can't manipulate people that already have huge careers without you. Now, someone MrBeast should have tapped on the shoulder that would have gotten millions of views to be his little mouthpiece should be Johnny Somali, because that man really needs some money right now. And to be honest, this man is probably like the best PR thing you can just throw out there. Just be like, hey, MrBeast said, look at this soggy cereal thing. Hey, man. Millions of people would look at it. Don't get me wrong. They wouldn't be looking at Johnny Somali specifically, but him saying anything, it just generates views right now. That's the person that MrBeast should have been tapping on his shoulder. But also click this video on Johnny Somali about how he got banned from TikTok. But other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.